Chicago Harness Racing. We're going to be looking at the race results from Thursday night, trifecta night, and handicapping Friday with our becoming ever popular pre-race interviews with some of the drivers.
You had a good time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Met a lot of the fans, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, they think that I should have my picks up on the screen too, but I told them Mike is mean and he won't let me.
That's right. No.
So there.
There's only room for one. So
Yeah, I've heard that before. Looking forward to the weekend. 2 winners over contest on Saturday night's card. Looking at Monday, 4 divisions of the Glad Rag, 4 2-year-old Illinois-bred fillies. So that's the first 4 races.
By the way, I told Gil have fun in one race. There's 4 Broadways.
Broadway Number, Broadway Glitter, Broadway Zephyr, and Broadway Bombshell.
I hear him announce that
Broadway. So that's coming up on Monday. That can go over there on the floor. Now let's look at the racing action from Thursday night, trifecta night. Chuck up 2 wins on the evening's card by driver Carl Porcelli. $1.4 million was the total combined handle. Looking at the first race, their fillies and mares, they're winners of over $10,000 in 1990, 1991. We had a scratched Tidy Vic. Came up injured. She had to be scratched out of the field. So here's 6 and Gillavine with the call.
They move over for the half-mile marker. Hermosa Hanover, the leader. The half in 58 seconds. But it's Hermosa Hanover, Lola Jean, and Tangy B.
And as expected, it's number 5, Hermosa Hanover. Dave McGee drives. George Kramer trains. $3 the winning mutual. Lola Jean and Jim Cummins was second for third. Tangy B and Tom Harmer. 1:56 and 1 was the time for the winning mile. The first half of the daily double is number 5. And our first race rundown official order of finish, 2, 5, 6, 4, 1, scratch 3 on the bottom.
Second race, Illinois bred fillies and mares, non-winners of 3. And these horses are to be claimed for $10,000.
Randy's Pet, the leader on the outside. Closing ground, that's Crystal Water with Oprah Mohawk. Ring-a-ling, close for second.
And it was Andy Miller with Ring-a-ling at 680. Irwin Miller trains the horse, 201 and 1. Crystal Water finished second, and Oprah Mohawk was third. We have a double of 5 and 1. I don't have the payoff. We'll go to the perfecta, 1 and 5, $65.60. And a rundown of 1, 4, 3, 6, 2, 5, 9, 8, and 7.
And that's the daily double from Thursday night, trifecta night. Stay tuned. We're going to get it all together right after this commercial break.
They're up. That's Amazing Wellwood and Bill the Bart.
Welcome back, and we're still handicapping Friday. It's such a monster card, we had to break it up into 2
segments, that's right.
Now let's look at race 7. Now winners of 4 races are 17.5 in a lifetime. The Rail and Jimmy Curran, Wildwood Arch, that's who Mike's going with. Overlooking Falcons Key. I think that's a mistake.
You think you're going to beat me?
I think it's a mistake.
I think I'm going to beat you in this one. Jim Curran getting the catch drive. I'm going to give him that last race, toss it out from the 9 home. Really fits well. He really has no excuse.
Okay, now we're looking at Division 2 for the Armbro Wolf elimination. They're 3-year-old Illinois Conceived and Foaled Colts and Geldings. From the Rail, you have Semper and Semper, and that's Homer Hochstetler. From the 2-spot driver, Dave McGee has Satanic Boom, and is he in over his head? Let's ask him.
It's a tough bunch of horses, and there's certainly more competitive horses in the race than he had to compete against last time, so I guess it would be considered a tougher class.
40-1 on Mike's line. That's American Bandstand. Doesn't put together a lot of good races, but Doug Larson says there's an excuse. Just why is American Bandstand not racing? Up to his potential. What are some of the problems that you've had to overcome?
Well, the horse was shipped up from North Carolina early and got up here and got sick on us, and he really hasn't come back since he got sick.
From the 4 spot, that's Earthquake Jake and Neil Coleman. Should the fans be concerned by the long layoff? Neil says no.
No, he just ended up getting sick a few days afterwards. Just a regular virus most colts get.
And so now he's back, and you really feel he's ready to burn up the 5/8 mile track out here, huh?
I'll have to find that out from Ray. He trains him, but Ray don't send any horses in short. He's usually good.
Next comes Hit Music and Ron Marsh, Dancers Ideal and Brett Howland, Best Behavior with Laverne Hostetler, and from the outside, Prairie Nitro and Daryl Bussey. What about that last line? Daryl talks about Prairie Nitro's last race at Sportsman's Park.
He's been in and get some nice colts, and except for his last race, which I was parked out, and it was probably more my fault than the colts. That's the only bad race, really, that he's really stuck into us. And hell, he was parked out the whole mile in some fast fractions. So I don't count that little horse out. If he gets an opening up the stretch, he can pace awful fast.
Well, that's how the drivers in the race feel. What does Mike Paradise think? Go with number 4, Earthquake Jake. In spite of the laugh, it was just a virus. There's nothing wrong with the horse physically or mentally. He's ready to win.
I hope so, but I'm really worried about this race. I gave Earthquake Jake the edge, hoping he'll get to the front end, but
Super Night. Sounds a little bit like a hike, doesn't it? Well, it may sound that way, but it happens to be the culmination of the summer stakes schedule crowning the Illinois Breds of the Year. That's what happens on Super Night. A night where dreams come true and dreams are shattered, all within a 2-minute mile. The very first Super Night in 1989 held high hopes for Jack Hood and his trainer Billy Cloyes. Their King's Intruder was a heavy favorite to win the orange and blue. And although he had some physical problems, that was the easy part compared to the problems caused by a horse coming on in the stretch named Go Sox.
Eagle in the stretch, the leader by a length and a half as they turn for home is Wellwood Dealer. King's Intruder looks for racing room. They're across the track, St. Elmo's Eagle. On the outside, Go Sox coming on. That's Go Sox getting the lead. Go Sox.
Okay, now it's Super Night 1991. How do you keep the dream alive year after year? I decided to visit Valparaiso and ask Jack Hood about just how super his nights have been.
Very discouraging. Bob Farrington, I think, summed it up one night when he was sitting at our table in the clubhouse. He says, in this business, he says, there's a lot more valleys than there are mountains. He says, but if you do get those few mountains, you'll stay in it forever. And Arsenic winning the Lincoln Land Trot was a high, but King's Intruder was a big disappointment in the orange and blue. But every year it's like the Cubs or the White Sox. Next year's here again and your hopes are real high, and I think we've got some really, really nice
And
tiers.
so truly your hopes are high for the season.
Yes, last year was a catastrophe. Everybody got hurt right before the stakes races. So it was the worst year we had in harness racing. But with the 2-year-olds we have this year and with a couple of the 3-year-olds may come back pretty strong.
Did you learn anything from that catastrophe that's going to help you this season?
We have cut down the number of horses that we had. We had as many as 30, 33 head. We're down to 12 now. We have 5 2-year-olds, 3 3-year-olds, 4 yearlings, and a couple 5-year-olds. But cut the numbers down and hope you do better with fewer numbers.
Well, last season was last season, and this summer Jack Hood will spend his hot summer nights watching and dreaming of a gal named Flashing Intruder.
She's our highest hopes. Billy Cloyes, the trainer. She's a sister to King's Intruder. She's a different sire. She's bisatanic, but she's been real promising. She's big, she's strong, and she's got King's Intruder's athletic ability, but she doesn't have his lazy streak that he had. But she isn't hot or nervous. She just does anything you ask her, and we're real high on her.
I've known trainer Mark Franzen for a lot of years, and I think I finally discovered the secret to his success in the harness game. He trains his horses to move as rapidly and as swiftly as he does. The moment you walk into the Cottonwood barn, you get swept up in the feeling that you're in the winning locker room of a championship baseball team. And check out this roster. This is Destiny of Fortune, a 2-year-old Arsenal trotting colt. Mark says the horse can't walk and chew gum at the same time, but he trots like he's floating on air. Let's go down here, Andy. We're looking at a big winner from a couple nights ago, closing night at Maywood. Here I go again, paid big money. This is Firm Resolve. This is a nice 2-year-old owned by Steve Newcomb, who of course owns Buck and Wing and a few others horses. I hear Mark in the back. This is Nesbitt here. He was telling us he was going to win tonight at Sportsman's Park, and over here we've got everybody's favorite free-for-aller. Yes, that's a Buck and Wing. Very calm, very calm. And if you come down here, right around this corner, right over here, on this side of the barn, this is where Plum Peachy lives. Say hi, everybody. Now we're with Mark Franzen, and Plum Peachy's ready to go out for a training mile. What about the theory, Mark, that you're only as good as your last line? The last 2 lines that people are going to look at for Plum Peachy aren't very good. I said she had a psychological aversion to a half-mile track. Can the fans really overlook those last 2 past performance lines and go back to that big win streak from last year?
Oh, I think so. I hope that the half-mile racetrack was her only problem. We've done a lot of work on her to try to find something wrong with her, and we can't find anything wrong with her.
On Tuesday afternoon, May 21st at Balmoral Park, that marked the big return of Plum Peachy with her regular skipper Walter Paisley after he had spent 3 months on the disabled list. They won the Violet eliminations, and then a week later, the Violet final. She's back. You know, a lot of people ask me for inside info on horses, so I decided to go straight to the horse's mouth. Are you going to win tonight at Sportsman's Park? Are you going to win? And you want the inside scoop on Plum Peachy? Well, I personally took Plum Peachy on her final training mile. Yes, Dennis Kairos, that's Plum Peachy and me. So those are the returning veterans of Team Franzen. Let's talk about the rookies now. Who are they? But more importantly, name their pedigree.
Well, I've got a 2-year-old filly called Joy Society that I like real well. She's got what we call the Blues Brothers, 2 Broadway Expresses that are going to be two colts that should do real well this year for us.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell the fans the name so that they know when they're watching their program?
Joyous Society is the filly, Broadway Shy Guy and Broadway Performer are the colts.
And we were talking a little bit when we were taking a tour of the barn about your nice 2-year-old trotting colt there.
Right, I've got 2 horses that are going to be coming a little bit late. Got a 2-year-old trotting colt that I like a lot. He's just slow in developing. He's really come on the last month. I got a 2-year-old pacing colt that's going to be a little bit later on called Firm Resolve. He's a masquerade.
Yeah, but the confirmation on him is unbelievable.
They're both real good. They're real strong, and they're made for a lot of speed.
We want to thank everyone at Cottonwood Farm and wish them the very best of luck this summer season. Reporting from Mark Franzen's training camp here in Aurora, Illinois, this has been Eleanor Flavin for Chicago Harness Racing.
They're off. Lavo Nauru coming for the lead. There goes Brownsville. Joined on the outside by Bud Royal.
Being a racehorse is hard work. You train every day, race every week. Stop the racetrack, I want to get off. I've had enough of the racetrack experience. I want the spa experience at the Rush Creek Spa. I dream of lounging around the spacious grounds and resting my aching feet in the jacuzzi. The daily massages are, well, invigorating, and I get counseled in good eating habits. Eat plenty of oats, and an overall appearance evaluation, which is very helpful. After a moderate workout on the latest Nautilus equipment, I take a quick jog around the track. Pool? You have a pool? Hey, wait a minute, boys. What exactly is a hydroaerobic workout anyway? Okay, this is good. This feels good. Ah, a sponge bath. This is just what I needed. Now all I gotta do is find that guy with the carriages.